Hello, welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today I'm working on 30 Days of Sketches, Series 16, day number 12. I am combining this sketch that was created by Lisa Marie with my Counterfeit Kit Challenge blog design team layout. I was assigned challenge number 1, which is your favorite fall activities. And so I have chosen photos of one of my kiddos carving a pumpkin. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But here is the sketch that I am going to be working with. And I am going to flip the pages of this sketch. I adore this sketch. I love that the right-hand side is kind of a grid design that makes it an easy design element for a page. I love that you've got your visual triangle here. You've got title and plenty of journaling if you want to do strips. She said strips down here at the bottom. I will probably use labels to journal on. But let's talk about the product that I will be using and the reasoning for me flipping the sketch, because I do love the sketch as it is, but the reason I am flipping the sketch is because of my photos. And I have a few more photos than her sketch calls for. She calls for 7, and I guess I only have one more. But first off, I'm flipping it because this is showing a process of him carving his pumpkin with the help of his dad. And so I wanted the big focal photo to be on the right hand side because it tells a story going this way. So this is how my photos are going to end up on the layout. Yes, they are different than hers. I am trying to use photos that I have already printed without reprinting them. So that's why that is the deal. So I am using my Counterfeit kit for October to complete this layout, and I have some product in here. We used a digital kit from Sweet Shop, an Autumn Tale, I believe is the name of the collection, and I'm going to be using papers from that digital collection because I purchased it and I want to use a few that I printed out at home. Plus, I have 2 pieces of Webster's Pages wood grain that was also in my October kit. These are going to be my background. But I have a beautiful piece of denim, a plaid, and then 2 of the peachy colors. Now, one of them is sitting on my cameo mat, and that is because I'm going to use these papers to cut out some pumpkins. I did not have a ton of pumpkins in my October kit, only a few. There's some gold ones here, and there was a set of chipboard. I've pulled out very few embellishments from this collection, so I'm going to be making pumpkins with a cut file from my cameo. So I'm going to pause and I will be right back. We're going to get started. I wanted to show you the process of putting these pumpkins together. So I am using spiced marmalade to ink up the edges of all of the pieces, both shades of the peachy coral color. And I don't know about you, but this Nuvo glue, when it gets to the bottom, gets really hard to squeeze, and I gave up and I got out my Scotch Quick Dry glue instead because, frankly, I prefer it anyway, but I've been trying to use up that Nuvo, and right now it is just super hard for me to squeeze out. So I am layering up and inking up the edges of these pumpkins, adding the stems and the little viney pieces to it. I think they're really, really adorable. And like I said, I really wish that I had made them a tad bit smaller than I did because I had intended on using all 3 of them, but they're really large. And if I would cut them down just a little bit in size in my software, I could have used all 3 of them. It is okay though. I do love them. And the one that I didn't use, I just set aside, and maybe I'll use it on another layout here in the near future. I have a few more pumpkin photos that I can definitely use that with. So this was just a very easy cut file that I have downloaded to my Cameo, my studio designs software, and it is just super simple to put together, and that I really appreciate, because sometimes you get these cut files and they're difficult. I did an elf on the shelf for a friend, and because I know this friend super well, as I was cutting it out, I started putting it together for her because it was seriously a fiddly design. And I think I sent it to her almost completely put together and just let her put the finishing touches on it, because there was no way to give her directions on how to put it together, and I did it for her. But these are not that way. They're super simple to put together. The only thing I had to do was make sure that I kept the right pieces together for each pumpkin, and that was easy. When I was cutting them, I cut it in the same order for all of the pieces. So I think this last one is actually my favorite one, but you'll have to wait and see. All right, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that I swapped out my denim and the plaid piece both, because I had cut into this denim, which is from Freckled Fawn and not the inspiration kit that we used for our to curate our own kits from our stash this month. And I'd also used this plaid in a previous layout. I believe it is the first Sunday Scrap Lift Crafternoon layout. If you haven't watched it, it was also a 2-page layout. Anyway, so I swapped those out because they were already cut into, and I didn't think it made any sense to cut down the other 2 full sheets when I had these, and these are the perfect size. All I did was cut off 1 inch so that I had a border around both of those pieces. So as you can see, I have already done my pumpkins. They are absolutely cute. I do wish that I had made them a tad bit smaller, but I'm not going to remake them, and I'm going to end up only using 2 of the 3 on the layout. So you can see that I was really having a hard time getting that pumpkin on the left side to look the way I want it to look, and so I'm gonna just be scooching things back and forth until I get that pumpkin where it is visible. And so this is what I've decided. Instead of having that grid design that I absolutely adore on the sketch on the left side, I'm going to have that bottom left photo kind of poking out towards the side, and I'll build embellishment clusters around that. So part of my goal today with this layout was to use a few of these gold pieces because I've had them for a while. They are from Hip Kit, and they're from one of their fall collections. They're gorgeous, but I've really struggled with using them. And so when I put them in the kit this month, because I think they've been in another one or two of my counterfeit kits, I decided I was going to break into them and get them used up. So I am just kind of using them as additional leafy bits for the layout. I think the gold is a nice color choice with the papers that I have here, and it looks pretty good in my opinion with it. So the label that I just laid down is going to be part of my journaling labels. It has date, location, and notes, and I do write in all 3 places on it. There are going to be some other journaling labels. That is from a My Mind's Eye set that has been in several of my counterfeit kits in the past 3 or 4 months, and I've used up a couple of those layouts like in August, and I think I used one in September, and I'm down to 2 on the little label sheet. And so I pulled it to use on this layout because I thought that it would be a great addition to my journaling labels, which come from Freckled Fawn. I chose a green one to match the green in my pumpkins, and then a yellow one because of course it matches the yellow that's in my pattern paper. I'm adding some hearts, one on the label and one next to the label. And then I have this extra little chipboard tiny pumpkin that I added, and a heart from the chipboard. I have everything kind of set off to my right out of your line of sight, but it's kind of right there, and I'm just digging around. And here is where I decided to add a frame behind my focal photo. You will also notice that I matted all of my photos in a light blue cardstock. I thought that that would stand out really well against the colors that I chose for my background, and I think it does. I love the rust colored chipboard frame. I'm going to tuck a couple of those gold leaves back there, and then there's a little round chipboard flare that I'm going to use on top of it. It has a sunflower or something like that on it. I'm going to add some more of the hearts from the gold sheet. I really love those. Those are absolutely wonderful little items. Hearts are really easy to add to a layout. I feel the same way about stars. I love to add both. Now you might be wondering about my focal photo. Is it going to be level? And the answer is not right now. It's not level, but I will put some foam adhesive underneath it to level out it out with that frame. I saw that I had another frame available and that it looked small enough to fit over the smallest photo. That smallest photo was cut from a previous layout. I cut Emily out of it and used just the picture of Emily on her layout that I did a few days ago. And then I kept it because it had the other two kids in it, and I'm using it on Seth's layout. I like the addition of the frame because it makes that photo just a little bit bigger, and it brings more focus to the photos on that side. I went ahead and I added the word together down at the bottom, and I'm adding this long label over here as well. I'm not going to put a whole lot of journaling there, but I like what it looks like so far. By the way, I had to get permission from the kitties to record today. All right, I got this layout done, and I think I stayed fairly true to her sketch, but just flipped them around. I did have to move these photos around to make room for these extra large pumpkin cut files that I created. But other than that, I really enjoyed making this layout. I love how it came out together. I love that I was able to use a lot of these gold pieces. These have been hopping around in my stash for a while and have made it into a couple of my counterfeit kits, and I just haven't used them. But I love that I was able to layer some around. I did add this and this off camera because I felt like there was too much empty space here, and I wanted to make sure that I had more hearts on this side because I have so many on the other side. I want to thank you for coming to my channel today. I really appreciate those of you who take the time to like, comment, and or subscribe. If you are new to my channel, I would absolutely love to have you subscribe to my channel. I do interact with all of my subscribers. If you have a question or a comment, you can drop that below and I will get back to you within a couple of days. I am usually within 24 hours, but sometimes on the weekend when we are out playing around in Colorado, I won't get back to you until Monday. I hope that you guys have a great Saturday and a great rest of your weekend. Bye.